Welcome to the Cosmic Journey. I am Theron. I'm your cosmic weirdo. I am an astrologer, so I use the planets and the stars to bring self awareness to individuals who like to change and become unstuck in life. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. I hope that you stay and be a part of our community. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. Thank you for hanging with me, and yeah, I'm happy to see you here. So I do ask that you all interact with this video by liking, comment, sharing, and subscribing for sure. This will help other people be able to hear this information and see, get this out to people who may need it and want to know this information. Okay. So, right now, we're about to start a series called The Planets Through the Houses. We're going to discuss the characteristics of these planets as they move through the house. Welcome again. We're going to talk about the fourth house. This is the house of your roots, house of origin, how you were raised, your relation, how you relate to your caregivers, your parents, or those who took the parental role in your life. It can also show what is considered your comfort zone, what you are used to, what you need for nourishment for your soul. There's some hidden emotions to be found here in the fourth house, because it is also can deal with the past, especially as we grow older. When we think about the past, it usually goes right back into the fourth house because it usually ties somewhere into how you were raised, the family origin you were around, and so on. Um, so yeah, we're going to get into the planets for the fourth house. In the fourth house, there is still a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of zest for life. However, it is geared into home life. Um, Home is very important for the sun. They need that surrounding, that comfort of others. So the zest and that enthusiasm that in when the sun is in other houses is usually seen on the external, like um, they want to be they want everything processed out in the open. They handle all of the they're easily to handle all of the things thrown at them, and they actually can relish in that, because they're getting that center of attention. They're processing things out on eternal. They like the risk. They like to create. They like to express themselves. All of that is still true for the sun in the fourth house. However, it's geared to home. It's You have to like pretty much live in the home with them to actually see them have this zest for life, have this energy, this vivaciousness. It's going to be around home and the ones that they are truly close and they're comfortable with. Um, their home will be their foundation where they're able to fully express themselves, or at least try to have an environment where they can fully express themselves. And then once they have that support and that comfort from home doing that, then you will see them be the traditional sun out in real life, out in the external. So yeah, they also process a lot of what their creativity and what have you internally. Um, they still they're generous, they're social, but it's going to be a tight knit group, or they may just want to hang with their family, who they consider their family, majority of the time. So this isn't sun the spot for the sun to have like an entourage that follows behind them and they're the center of all the attention out in the world. This is a sun that says, I might still be the center of attention, but I am inside my home, where I have created this environment where all my family can stick around me, and we can all live happily ever after. So yeah, so this is the sun in the fourth house. So it's still that zest for life, the creativity, risk taker, but it's going to be done in the home front. The home is very important. In the fourth house, well, the moon rules the fourth house in the natural astrology chart. So the emotions here are could be like intensified. One thing about the fourth house, and I didn't mention when I intro the fourth house, is our, I guess I alluded to it, it's our midnight hour. It is who we are in the dark. It's the hidden aspects of ourselves where we probably hold emotions, hold thoughts and feelings that we don't necessarily express um, as we should. Like we should be able to process and integrate those hidden, those shadow sides of ourselves. But so yes, the fourth house also harbors that. So with the moon being here, there may be an intensified emotions. You might stay in the like thoughts of the past, you kind of ruminate on them possibly. Um, as it relates to how you relate to your parents, um, you know, it would suggest that you probably wanted, of course, um, a safe and secure surroundings. However, there may be a challenge in how you relate it to the mother figure of the parents, or the more feminine energy of the parents or the caregivers that were in your life. Um, so yeah, you want, so whether you like childhood, you may or may not had the you may have had challenges in feeling secure and feeling nurtured. But even now, if you are, as you grow old and become an adult, you want that your house to be that sanctuary, to be that comfort for you, to that place where if you want to deal with those hidden things, it's safe to do so. um, because you will kind of build that environment around you that um, make it a safe place for you to land, a safe place for you to put your head down. It's home. It's it's where you have to come to reground, to self care, and to nurture yourself. So Venus in the fourth house. Venus in the fourth house would be someone who possibly played the peacemaker in the home. They were the person who tried to negotiate and mediate conflict that was happening in the home. Venus wants peace, they want harmony. And you might even fought for justice for someone that couldn't speak for themselves in the home. Also, as it relates to a parent, you could have, again, been the peacemaker between their arguments, or um, sided with one or the other for justice for one or the other. Like different dynamics can happen, but just definitely two sides were being bridged together, and you were probably possibly that bridge. Um, Also, far as beauty, Venus would like their home to be beautiful. It has to be aesthetically pleasing. Um, I shouldn't say have to, but they prefer aesthetically pleasing. So when they purchase real estate, or that house needs to really speak to them, they need to be able to create be able to kind of like express and create themselves and make things around them beautiful, so they can feel that energy around them all the time. um, yeah, there is a sense of, if this person is an artist, or somehow they use their home somehow as a canvas, um, or if they like crafts, they use their home somehow as a canvas. And what I mean, like, they might have elaborate gardens outside. They may have some type of thing built in their home that looks like art, even though it may be functional. Um, yeah. So yeah, Venus and now Venus is also, they like their environment to be secure, and they like it to be stable. So they may not be doing a whole lot of moving around. Um, there may not, yeah, probably not a lot of moving around because they like the security, they like the stability. Um, um, yeah, Venus has to do with finances and money. So either you can be an interior designer, a real estate agent, somewhere where the home and money meet. Um, Venus is probably right there. In the fourth house would be someone who could have easily said they had a wonderful childhood. Chances are they were raised with little restrictions and obstacles in their life. They were able to pretty much, I want to say, roam free, if not physically roam free, but definitely mentally roam free. So if they had an idea that they pitched to a parent, that parent may have been like very supportive in letting them go about discovering whatever it is that they were interested in. So they were able to learn from life, and they probably were taught that there was no failure, no mistakes, just lessons in life when things didn't go well. The flip side of that is that there may, like, the challenge there is if that child actually thought they had too much leeway and too much, they may, it may resonate as then like no one cared because they let me do whatever. But actually, they were here to actually to explore and learn, and having that foundation of home that they can come back to is basically what is pretty much written in the stars for this placement. Home is where they can have their footing, they can come back and they can reground if necessary, and usually it is. But when they want to explore, they're able and they have the confidence now to go out and explore. Far as home, the home they may acquire may be a large home, bigger than what they need, for the having the thoughts that they're going to fill it up somehow, whether it's they want to have a house enough size if they wanted to host a family reunion, everybody can come and stay with them. They have that type of thought process when purchasing and looking for a home. They're also the philosophies that they have acquired as they aged in life. They want to pass that down to their children. They want to they're probably more likely to also have a home where they also lifted restrictions off of their children and allowed them to roam and allowed them to grow and broaden their horizons with any interest that they may have. And they also, here in the fourth house, there were probably circumstances would also strengthen their instincts, allow them to know how to trust their gut reactions, and to know that that gut reaction is the has helped them in their path along the way. But they learned it possibly in childhood. They learned it because one or both of the parents allowed them to do that without any hindrances. So, Mercury in the fourth house will home is just as important to them as anyone else. Matter of fact, they may take on responsibility um, as like the family organizer, the family, the person who sets agenda, sets the things to do list for the entire family, keeping everybody in order, and being at the right place at the right time. They may introduce healthy food habits or healthy workout plans, and they want their family to be involved. They bring it home, and they're, everybody in our house right now is doing dot dot dot. Um, as a child, Mercury, more than anyone else, their foundation and learning style came from the home. And like I said, everybody else that could be true as well. But it's solidified because it's Mercury being there intensifies what they pull in for information. And depending on what that sign is, it may be bad habits hard that's hard to break. Um, there could be a Mercury has possibly learned how to talk their way out of things, um, because of the fourth house and whatever interaction they had with their family. Like I said, they picking up cues, picking up their learning style of body languages and tonation, how people say things, and that foundation allows them to be able to speak how they need to speak to get what they need in life. So they're probably very good at negotiating, especially being in the fourth house. There is an internal there's a there's always this more internal um, intuition that is brewing in the fourth house. So it's kind of like your way of communicating is mixed with that intuition that you would have having Mercury in the fourth house. So you'll start to really pick up on cues and you'll start to like trust your intuition. And so someone, like I said, be great at negotiating, having this in the and being personable, and probably speaking to someone as if they're already family. Again, to being able to learn how to talk their way through things to get what it is that they want, and they'll come from like, we all into this together. We're all family. We can do this. That type of coming from that type of angle, with having Mercury, yeah, in the fourth. Mars in the fourth house. So Mars is at its most energetically stable self in the fourth house. Quite kind of similar to the sun. Um, they're more internalized on their aggression and their aggravation and frustrations, determination. It's more internalized. However, for a child with Mars in the fourth house, they may have um, their surroundings growing up could have been very passionate, um, like a lot of conflict. The family could have a bit of competitiveness, compete with one another, and that means like the child may compete with one of the parents. Possibly a child can be in competition with the feminine, um, the mother or the mother figure, or the feminine energy of the caregivers. There is a possibility that once the Mars placement, as they begin to purchase their own home, um, they're pretty stable as far as the home that they choose. They don't necessarily move around a lot. However, they may constantly do improvements on the home. Mars can still get bored a little easy and will want to do something. If nothing is going on, Mars is going to create something, and that means they may in the home they may do a lot of renovations. They may do a lot of renovations and change up furniture, just completely kind of like revamp the house a lot. Um, they enter the home, and you just they don't like something anymore and they're quick to change it. But as far as the dwelling place, it may stay it they can be more stabilized here in the fourth house, where they don't necessarily need to move all over the place every time they get bored, but they definitely would make improvements, painting it, changing furniture, or something like that. But again, they're still having that passion and that drive. So even the families that they cultivate may still have a little bit of that competitiveness, that drive, um, that just that inner push that Mars have can come out in the home. Here at Saturn in the fourth house, I feel like every time I get to Saturn in any of the houses, I kind of like the energy gonna like Um, and I think because Saturn is restrictive, it's authoritative. So this suggests, with it being in the fourth house, there is a possibility that there was some strict parenting. There was a controlling type parenting going on in childhood. Um, there was a child need to be seen and not heard, possibly going on here in the fourth house, um, which, because also there was not a lot of emotion in the fourth house. Saturn doesn't necessarily integrate its emotion, it compartmentalizes it and it moves it over here and it deals with tasks. So, home life as in childhood could have been task driven, not a lot of emotion, not a lot of caring about the emotion. And with this, the child probably could have cultivated a lack of security where they should have felt most secure, which is in their home. Um, yeah, there may have been, as it relates to parenting, there may have been um, some conflict as it relates to like the father figure or the masculine figure in the home. Um, there, like I said, there may have been a controlling factor because there was the controlling factor was the fact that you were asked to conform, you were made to conform, because what people may see from the outside needed to be like perfect or need to be seen successful. Um, Even though there were things that need to be dealt with, it was like either not dealt with or you were like silenced, because it would tarnish whatever reputation the family was trying to carry out in society. Um, some of this could play out in adulthood. Um, it depends on like if the person has really integrated their emotional side and kind of balanced themselves out. Some of this could still play out in adulthood and the families that they have. But yeah, that this of course, like I said, Saturn usually um, brings on some of the harder times in the childhood, especially with the fact that you just didn't feel like you were free to express yourself, free to have emotions, and be secure, and have like your emotions didn't have a safe place to land, if that makes sense. So, therefore, there's probably a little work that needs to happen to integrate that emotional side in with the action and let's do. Um, so yeah, balancing that masculine and feminine energy is probably an ongoing thing in your life to actually balance out and give yourself the emotional support that you possibly need. So with Uranus in the fourth house, this could indicate that growing up there was a lot of disruptions. Um, there was a lot of instability from time to time that you may not have a connection to um, what's home. Home could be wherever you decide it to be, or you may have learned to know that home is within yourself. Um, but those changes and those disruptions and possibly like multiple moves made you or your family to be the unique ones in your surroundings. Um, there was something seen that was different about you all, than possibly different than your surrounding, your neighborhood, the city that you were living in. As an adult, you may do a lot of traveling. Again, not necessarily connected to a home because it may bring up memories that you don't really care for. So you may home wherever you are. So with that, you probably have done a lot of traveling, or a lot of moving yourself. not really being sentimental or connected to um, a dwelling place. Um, there is a possibility that the other side of this, your family could have been very much into humanitarianism um, when you were growing up, because Uranus is a humanitarian. It looks out for the collective. Um, you could have had that social home, charity events. Um, well, I should say you could have had charity events at your home, charity events in your neighborhood, or there were things that were your family tried to like create that would help other people um, in whatever issues that they were having to deal with. Of intimacy in the home, or at least felt like you had a lack of intimacy with your family, as far as being close with them, um, feeling like they're safe. There could have been with Pluto, it could have been a experience with betrayal. You may have even lost a parent at a young age. Um, yeah. Uh, Pluto being in the fourth house, things could have been very heavy and dark for you growing up. Also with Pluto, it brings about a transformation wherever it's placed. So there may have been a transformation in your home where now that you have your own home, it's totally different from the upbringing you had. You have transformed that type of environment that you came from, and you're making sure that you're not passing that type of thing on to your family. Um, but yeah, there could have been some deep emotional um, issues that may have come about out of the fourth house. Um, you may have like experienced multiple times like your world was burning down around you, um, and then you had to like rebuild from the rubble. And like I said, that could have been a form of portrayal, lack of intimacy, just not having a safe place to land, or a safe footing for you. But as you grew older, and like I said, you took on that transformation. You learned from the experiences, and now you've probably created a home that is nothing like the home that you grew up in. Um, the One of the processes that you possibly had to learn was to learn how to detach, um, and from probably the control that one or both of the parents may have had over you, which kind of forced you to, if there were secrets or things that were being hidden, you were kind of forced to stay silent, forced to stay kind of like you're forced to be involved in it, um, without your consent. So you had to learn how to detach from that influence of a parental figure or someone's control. And there again, like you've transformed, possibly have transformed and didn't bring any of that into your adult life. You've learned to detach from it and to move on into a different environment that you have built for yourself. Neptune in the fourth house. One thing about Neptune, like your upbringing may have cultivated a lot of creativity, a lot of art, um, fantasy, being able to just dream and um, pretty much mentally leave this world, like can go um, on a whole mental excursion just in a fantasy land of your choosing. There may have been a lot of spirituality in your upbringing, not necessarily traditional or organized um, religion, but definitely still some sort of spirituality, some type of connection in your um, in your fourth house. The other side of Neptune in the fourth house could have possibly brought on chaos. You experience um, the adults around you engaging, well, having addictions, um, possibly imprisonment, a lot of hospitalization, dealing with a lot of possibly being a caregiver young in life, having to take care of the adults, or it could be in like just in the family unit, you were possibly the caregiver for other people's decisions. You know, and it's probably something that as you became an adult, that those decisions kind of hunt you. They come back from the past from time to time. If you've able to do any type of spiritual work and healing and integrating from that, you possibly are able to strengthen the connection to that spiritual origin that you probably may have had, and if you didn't, you start to cultivate that. That way, that you can stay on the side of Neptune that is still in service of people, like to care for people. Um, the oneness where that Neptune cultivates, but you're able to also have some self care, keeping boundaries to not allow yourself to get washed into the current that can come around when yeah, Neptune is activated from the other side where escapism and self sabotage can lie. Last but not least, we have Chiron in the fourth house. Chiron is where we have been hurt and wounded. So, dealing with Chiron in the fourth house, chances are you there's probably an incident or just the overall summary of your childhood that suggests that somehow you were not worthy. You're not, yeah, you were not worthy. You were not worthy of love, attention, nourishment, being heard, understood. Home was not a safe place for you to land, even though um, you did, naturally you wanted that to be a safe place to land, and it happened not to be for one reason or another. But that wounding, you held on to that wounding, and you'll still hold on to that wounding for the rest of your life, and it's something that you will always have to revisit from time to time and peel another layer off to heal or integrate another portion of what may come up far as that wound is concerned. Um, so yeah, Chiron can be a little hard. Well, Chiron is hard anywhere. Um, from this point of view, it's dealing with your foundation in life. Somehow or another, it had been yanked from under you or made you feel like undeserving, or you're not enough to get the love and the nourishment that um, you desired and you needed in life, especially in your foundation in this world. That concludes the fourth house. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe, share it with someone who may need this information, who you may think need this information. And I thank you for joining me through this series of planets through the houses. And yeah, I'll see you next time.